everyone. You haven't seen my face on here in a little while, but you have heard my voice recently. The title of the video is accurate. What's going on? And I figured you were owed an explanation. So I was going to give you the history of Eligible Monster, but I'll start with the too long didn't read version of it, okay? So I started a whole bunch of projects recently. This is one of my first projects I ever ran. Originally, it was basically gaming lore, and I'll explain the history of that in a second, but originally it was gaming lore. I was sitting around organizing the lore of Assassin's Creed for fun, because that's the kind of thing I do, hence why Comic Storian exists, hence why we did these videos a while ago. And I was like, you know what would be a fun passion project for me to remember how to edit and how to chop up the audio and how to do research? Why don't I start doing Assassin's Creed lore videos? And then I was going to launch a brand new channel for it, but I was reminded by our viewers, you have a literal channel that at one point was all gaming lore. So I decided I would start doing just Assassin's Creed lore over here at EM. But I started to have a lot of fun with it again. And I started as this was working and I was doing stuff, I started to look more into Resident Evil again, into Destiny again. I started looking at things like the Sonic comic books. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I just start uploading them here on EM simply for the passion of it? Because I like making these videos. And the idea is simple. I'll throw up all these videos. If this channel goes anywhere, cool. If it doesn't go anywhere, doesn't really bother me because I'm doing this as a fun thing on the side. And since I'm covering the comic books, I figured worst case scenario, eventually I could re-upload them all to Comic Storian if this channel just never does anything and I just want to put them somewhere else. So that's basically it. I'm back on this channel to simply make gaming lore, which is where the channel started. And I'll give you the history in a second. You may have heard it before, you may not have, but I wanted to give you the too long didn't read. I'm going to focus very heavily on Assassin's Creed. My goal is to get an Assassin's Creed lore video out every other week. But in between that, I want to talk about Resident Evil. I want to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog comic books. And Yorcia, my wife, is actually going to come back to talk about the lore within Final Fantasy XIV. She's starting with the job storylines. So for those of you who have always wondered why we never covered the job storylines, well, she's going to cover them now. So that's what's going on with this channel. We are just doing gaming lore over here again, simply for the fun of it. That's all we really want to do with this. We still have our podcast channel. She's still streaming all the time. I still have Comic Storian. But I wanted to make an official announcement because I keep making posts in the community tab and telling you guys what's going on. And it doesn't get too many views. Nobody really sees it. So they're all very much confused as to what I'm doing. And it's, because of the nature of the channel and how long it's been around since 2011, 2012. It's gone through 5 or 6 different iterations that I'll talk about in a minute. There's some just mean people on the channel on top of that. So I just wanted to give you guys an official video that explains what's going on. So that way, at least when I get comments like, just let it die, stop making videos, I can at least say, screw her off and feel better about it because I did an explanation as a video. So if you're wondering what Eligible Monster is, what this channel is, what happened, what's going on, this is where Natalie and I started. When I was in the Army, we started an Eligible Monster. We made this channel. We did Let's Plays at the beginning. Eventually, I did Metal Gear Solid. That did very well, and I started just doing research on various video game lore. At the time we started this, there wasn't that many big channels for gaming lore. There was just a lot of channels like us who covered a lot of different games lore. As the years went on, channels started to spring out, and their entire purpose was to cover the lore of one video game. You had Dark Souls, you had Destiny channels, you had Metal Gear Solid channels, and channels literally cropped up to cover one video game. If you cover one video game and my ADD makes me look at 20 video games, of course you're going to do a better job than me. So eventually, as time went on, we just kind of let Eligible Monster slowly start to die out. Natalie worked on YouTube on this channel while I worked on Comic Storian. So I never wanted to fully ditch it and just kind of leave her there by herself. So we moved the channel over to trying to do what was popular on YouTube at the time. And that's the first mistake we made. That was the first major mistake, that we were focusing on what we think was popular and trying to grow it. We had a blast making the videos, but we didn't do it for the passion. We did it for let's make this video type, people seem to like it, and we'll keep making them. That was the discussion stuff. And as much fun as we had doing it, it was made with the intention of trying to regrow Eligible Monster in a brand new direction. As that went on, Natalie got tired of that because it's not what she signed up for. She didn't want to do podcast style stuff. She didn't like it and she wanted to go stream. She moved over to twitch.tv/Yorcia and I kind of got full control over Eligible Monster. We then went through a couple of fluctuation periods where I tried to throw a comic book up over here and that didn't really work. And then I tried to throw another piece of content over here and that didn't really work. And then I tried to do narrative driven Let's Plays, which was kind of working. And we even launched a separate channel to move it over to. But the problem is it takes like 3 to 5 days to make one of those videos. And I don't have that time, not with Comic Storian and Absolutely and all the other stuff I'm doing. I just don't have time for that. So we officially and quietly shut down the channel. I was just like, hey guys, it's been going on 10 years. I'm calling it quits. When we were launching 6 or 7 different projects, Dan and I wanted to do a gaming news channel. We thought it'd be fun to just talk about the gaming news. So we made that channel. And since Gaming Lore launched the original Eligible Monster, I was like, you know what if I do gaming lore in a short amount of time for this gaming news channel, and we'll see how that does. Maybe it'll bolster the numbers and then people stay around to watch the gaming news. So what I did was we did things like Resident Evil 1 in 8 minutes, Assassin's Creed Odyssey in 9 minutes. We made a bunch of those videos for this other channel. Well, the channel didn't go very well. We had a large staff on the channel, and most of the people didn't know how to podcast properly, and I just didn't have the time I needed to properly teach them how to podcast properly. So Dan and I eventually called it quits on the channel. If you're wondering, it was the PlayStation Esteemed Gamers channel. We were going for very SEO in the name. It was just a weird idea, but it worked, but it didn't work at the same time just because we couldn't keep up the quality and the consistency, and that's what the problem was. So what I did was, instead of wasting all those videos we created, I moved them over here to Eligible Monster. And that's why you can now find Assassin's Creed Odyssey in 9 minutes, Assassin's Creed Origin is such and such. Now, I'm not proud of those videos, and I'm admitting that, and I've admitted that on a story. And the reason is simple. I don't really care if I mispronounce things. You can make comments all you want about me mispronouncing things. I have a whole issue with why I mispronounce things, and it's related to when I was younger having a stutter and how I deal with things mentally now to get the names out there. But I will admit, those videos were made in a rush. So there was no real attempt to learn the proper pronunciations. So that's what bothers me, the fact that I rushed the videos out. At the time we were making those videos, they were really just made to drum up views on the gaming news channel. They weren't made to be on a channel that I'm proud of and to live. The idea was that they would go in the gaming news channel, they'd get a few views, and then they'd get buried by all the news, and then they'd get kind of shoved off on their own. They wouldn't exist forever. I moved them over here, and I didn't realize that they were going to do well over here. Over here, those videos all have 60,000 to 100,000 views, and there's a lot of people calling me out for the mispronunciations. I am happy that you guys aren't calling me out for the stories being wrong, because at least I got the stories right, but the mispronunciations, especially on the Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And it doesn't bother me that you call me out. It bothers me that I'm not proud of the video. If I was proud of that video and you guys said, oh, you butchered the pronunciations, whatever, I don't care. That's fine. But it's the fact that I'm not proud of the content we made. So basically that channel, the PlayStation Esteemed Gamers, I was just looking for something fun to do. I started to organize the Assassin's Creed lore. I thought it'd be fun to upload them on that old channel, the gaming news channel, and just kind of make it into an Assassin's Creed lore channel. And somebody said, hey, you still have Eligible Monster. It's literally a channel you started with gaming lore. If you're gonna upload them anywhere, just upload them onto Eligible Monster and see what happens. And as I started to upload them over here, I just had fun doing all that research again. So I started looking into Assassin's Creed. I started looking into Sonic the Hedgehog because you guys were requesting it. I started looking into Resident Evil's timeline and Destiny and all these things again. And even Natalie kind of got excited about doing gaming lore again. She's actually going to bring you guys a Final Fantasy XIV story for each of the job classes. We're going to start with Warrior and work our way down. And so now we're at a point where I'm actually having fun because we're doing this entirely for fun and out of the passion of making videos over here. Because I get to utilize my staff to a certain extent to clean up the parts of the videos I don't like Dan, who's watching this right now and is going to edit this audio. But then I get to do things that I want to do, like kind of learn how to edit better, learn how to clean things up better, learn how to do research better. And that's why I wanted to do this channel. It's more to just drive me to improve myself as a YouTuber. The channel has some kind of a following. Some of you like the gaming lore, so why not use this? If the channel gets super big, cool. If the channel never takes off, doesn't really matter to me. What I'll do is I'll take all the comic books we're doing when they're full stories, like when we do all the Sonics, and we'll just upload a Sonic the Hedgehog full story when Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie 3 comes out. Like that's what we'll do at Comic Storian. And none of this is going to get wasted, trust me. But that's where we are now. I wanted to give you guys a rundown as to what's going on. I came back here out of just wanting to make Assassin's Creed videos, which is why the title of the channel says Assassin's Creed Lore, because you can only change it every 14 days. So I changed it to Assassin's Creed Lore, and then I changed it to Assassin's Creed Lore Eligible Monster. And then I changed it to Eligible Monster Assassin's Creed Lore because it started to cover other games again. And now I'm going to just change it to gaming lore eventually, but that's where we are. Yeah, I'm going to try to do Assassin's Creed every other week. That's the plan right now. I've already got, what I want to do is spice it up. I want to do a short video that's like quick information. Like the next one coming out is going to be a comic book. So that's going to be beefier. And then we're going to do all of the Apples of Eden. That'll be shorter, and I can just kind of run through a bunch of stuff. So I want to cycle it up. Super high quality, spent a lot of time production, shorter video to get the information out kind of a thing. I am having a lot of fun trying to match the game to the book. That's taken a lot more. I don't know why I thought this. I thought I could play the entirety of Assassin's Creed Odyssey and read the entire book in a 2-week span of time when I also have Comicstorian to run, Absolutely to run, 80 other things to run. Like, I don't know why I thought I could do a 100-hour RPG and a light novel in a weekend kind of a thing, but I thought I could, and I was wrong. But anyway, I'm working on a lot of stuff, and I want to just keep talking about video games. Video games are one of my biggest passions. I've loved it since I was a little kid. It was always, a lot of stuff was changing around when I was a kid, and I always found video games to be very stable. I always got into MMOs because they wouldn't change, and it was great, and that's why I've always had a huge passion for them. So I do want to keep doing this channel. I want to keep bringing you guys lore. What we're going to do is the videos that I'm not proud of will slowly disappear from the channel as I create replacements for them. I'm going to leave them up for now because they are driving traffic to this channel, but I'm going to slowly remove them and put up the replaced versions, the better versions that I'm proud of, because I want to be proud of the stuff I put up over here. You're going to start to see Natalie pop up with Final Fantasy XIV. I'm going to do Assassin's Creed every other week, and on the off week, you'll see Sonic, you'll see Resident Evil, you'll see Destiny, you'll see whatever I got weirdly interested in and wanted to make a video about. That's the best way to put it, because it's not always going to be themed around something. I might just be playing some weird game and go, what is this? And do way too much research. That Resident Evil video I just made, that wasn't a video idea. I was just trying to figure out the timeline of Resident Evil. And then I realized I wrote a script up. And I'm like, ha! I got a channel for this now. I was really just trying to figure out, okay, out of all the Resident Evil games, what actually happened that's important? That's all I was trying to do. Anyway, thank you for watching this video to the ending. And for those of you guys who have been at Eligible Monster since its early inception, when we literally did a Let's Play channel that I titled, I'm Wrong, You're Right, I think is what I called it. Because the idea was simple. I would play the video game and she would nag me. That was the concept of the channel when we launched it. Let's talk about how far we've come, right? But yeah, I own this channel. I want to keep it going. And even though it's just a fun little thing that's basically a dead channel, I can have fun with it and talk about Assassin's Creed in my games and have fun. Fun. I've said it like 8 times in a row. I'd say take a shot for every time I said fun, but I'm pretty sure some of you are younger. Or you've been watching for 10 years and you're old now. I don't know. I'll see you guys on the next video. We have a comic book coming out this weekend, Assassin's Creed The Fall, talking about how Daniel Cross took out all the assassins. Thank you again. I'll see you next time.